After weeks of intense courtroom testimony, public speculation, and headlines dominating news cycles, the high-profile federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs is now in the hands of a jury. Once celebrated globally as a visionary entrepreneur, entertainment mogul, and founder of Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs now faces a pivotal moment in his decades-long career. This trial focused on charges that has captivated audiences not just for its legal gravity, but for what it may reveal about fame, influence, and the boundaries of power in the music industry. The jury, set to begin deliberations Monday morning, will determine whether Combs is guilty of multiple alleged offenses or whether the government has failed to meet the burden of proof in a case that has been as complex as it has been closely watched. As the nation waits, a deeper story has emerged, one that stretches across 2 decades of alleged conduct, celebrity relationships, and the tightrope between personal lifestyle choices and criminal accusations. At the heart of this legal drama lies a question that reaches beyond the courtroom. Can success shield someone from accountability, or is justice blind to stature? With deliberations about to begin, observers from across the world are tuning in to see what the future holds for one of hip-hop's most iconic figures, a man whose influence has shaped not only music, but business, fashion, and culture itself. Throughout the 6-week trial, federal prosecutors painted a picture of a man who, behind closed doors, used power and influence in ways that raised serious legal questions. They called 34 witnesses in total, aiming to establish that Sean Combs engaged in a pattern of illegal acts, an effort to prove that his alleged actions were not isolated incidents, but rather part of a larger conspiracy. Prosecutors also introduced a set of predicate acts, asking jurors to agree unanimously on at least 2 in order to convict. Much of the case rested on the testimony of 2 women, Cassie Ventura, a former partner of Combs, and another woman identified by the pseudonym Jane. Their testimonies spanned multiple days and included descriptions of alleged events. The government argued that over a span of 20 years, Combs had committed crime after crime, under the belief that his fame placed him above the law. In contrast, Combs' legal team firmly rejected the charges, portraying him as a victim of a narrative shaped by selective memories and aggressive prosecution. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, took direct aim at the government's framing of the case. He argued that the prosecution had taken consensual adult behavior and repackaged it into a criminal enterprise. According to Agnifilo, the agents focused on irrelevant details to build an image that lacked factual foundation. He emphasized that lifestyle choices, no matter how unconventional, are not synonymous with criminal behavior. As the trial moved toward its conclusion, both sides delivered closing arguments that encapsulated the stark contrast in their interpretations of the evidence. On Thursday, Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic urged jurors to look beyond the fame and wealth, saying, "It's time to hold him accountable. It's time for justice. It's time to find the defendant guilty." Slavic described the alleged conduct as persistent, calculated, and harmful, suggesting that Combs had created an environment where power and influence insulated actions that would otherwise face immediate legal consequences. The defense countered with an entirely different perspective. On Friday, Agnifilo delivered a sharp critique of the prosecution, suggesting that law enforcement had overreached. The defense maintained that the case lacked the kind of concrete, corroborated evidence typically required in federal racketeering trials and emphasized that a conviction would require unanimity on specific charges, a legal threshold they believe the government has not met. With these final arguments laid out, the judge has prepared the jury instructions, a critical component in helping the jurors navigate a complex set of legal definitions and standards as they consider their verdict. The trial has highlighted how difficult it is to separate public persona from private actions, and how the justice system interprets power, fame, and responsibility in a modern cultural context. As jury deliberations begin, the stakes for Sean Diddy Combs could not be higher. A conviction could mean a life sentence, while an acquittal would allow him to begin restoring a public image shaped by decades of artistic and entrepreneurial achievement. The jury has been tasked with reviewing a wide range of testimonies, documents, and legal arguments, and their decision will reflect not only the strength of the government's case, but also the level of confidence they have in the reliability of the witnesses and the legal definitions presented. This case is not just a moment of reckoning for Combs, but also for the legal system itself. It tests the boundaries of what can be tried as a criminal conspiracy and how deeply courts should consider lifestyle choices when determining criminal intent. For those watching closely, the trial has also served as a broader commentary on accountability in the age of celebrity. In an era where high-profile figures are increasingly facing legal scrutiny, the public has grown more attuned to the complexities of such cases, recognizing the importance of due process, fair representation, and a thorough, unbiased jury process. Meanwhile, Combs remains committed to defending his innocence. Throughout the proceedings, his legal team has underscored that accusations do not equal guilt, and that the American legal system is built on the presumption of innocence until proven otherwise. The outcome of this trial will ultimately be determined by the jury's interpretation of weeks of detailed testimony and the legal criteria set by the court. As the courthouse doors prepare to close behind the jurors for deliberation, all eyes remain fixed on what comes next. Their decision could mark the beginning of a new chapter for Combs, for the music industry, and for how justice is interpreted in the face of cultural prominence. In the coming days, a verdict will be reached, one that will carry deep implications beyond a courtroom. For Sean Diddy Combs, the path forward remains unwritten, but one thing is certain: the world is watching.